What's happening, webheads, guys? Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and today I'm bringing you a special edition of After the Poll. Most recently, I did a video asking your guys' requests on what you would like to see from the series, and I'll leave that video at the end of this video so you can check it out. But basically, number one, you guys said you wanted more comic books covered, and number two, you wanted less spoilers. So I definitely took the advice, and both of those things were heavily commented on that video. So what I'm going to do is experiment a little bit on what I'm planning on trying to do going into the new year when it comes to the series. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all the comics this week that I read, which I think is like 15 of them as well. And what's going to happen is these books are flipped upside down, so we're not going to know what I'm talking about, but we will still have a top 5, and we'll have the worst comics of the week as well. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. But let's get started. Tell me what you think. My least favorite comic this week winds up going to, and this is no surprise, here we go, bam, we got the Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This is issue 2. My gosh, this book was god-awful. I kid you not, guys, this is like the worst Spider-Man series I've ever read. The artwork, you know, at times it's okay. The characters' facial expressions look all right. There's not a lot of action in here. This is a book that has to deal with a lot of like dream sequences and things like that. And we get to see Spider-Man, you know, talk to a demon bear because he's got to go on this mission to where the dreamscape and the realscape are crossing over with each other. And it's super freaking confusing, and I could not stand it. I don't like Peter Parker's personality in this book. It's just not a very entertaining book. You don't know what's real, what's fake, and yeah, this is definitely just a disappointment. I see what they're trying to get at when they're, you know, trying to do something different with your, you know, favorite wall crawler, but this is a book that I will not be buying issue 3. I bought 1 and 2. I did it for the Spidey fans. I did it for me, and I can't. I just can't. All right, so let's talk about the other book I really did not like this week because it's just not my favorite, okay? And this goes to Cayman Writer01, issue 1, okay? I'm not saying this is a bad book. It's just not for me. We get a bunch of mechs, Power Ranger type of characters fighting each other in this book, right? The problem with this book for me is that it's just a lot of dialogue right from the start, and it introduces you to this world, and you expect to remember all this shit that happens in this very first page on who these characters were. So you get to see this all introduced, who that robot is, this mech is, who this is, who's that, what's this organization, what they stand for, and right away it's like you're supposed to know who these characters are. The one thing, though, that this book really had going for it, I'm not gonna lie, dude, the artwork looks great. I mean, it's so bright, it's so vibrant. I love the way the characters looked in here. The battle scenes, the fight sequences, all look absolutely phenomenal. And this was a book where visually, it's perfect, right? I really liked it. But story-wise, just not for me. And there might be people out there that like this, especially if you're a Power Ranger fan. All right, so those were my 2 least favorite books this week. Now let's dive into the bulk of this stuff, and let's see what we kick off with. So the first book we're going to be talking about here is, bam! So we got the Out Avengers. This is issue 3. Now this book was actually pretty good, and I feel like every issue has been pretty good. Now, if you feel like you're disjointed from the story a little bit, it's because it's purposely meant to be that way, where the heroes don't remember certain things that are going on. There's a bad guy in this book that you're just not sure who it actually is. But in this issue, you get to see your favorite Avengers characters do battle against Doombots. You get to see him do battle against life model decoys of Red Skulls. And I think some of the action scenes in this book were very entertaining. I enjoyed it very much. I loved some of the one-liners in here, which were good. And this is a story where it's starting to grow on me. This is a book where, okay, don't take too serious. I don't feel like this is a I don't know if this book is actually in continuity. I don't think it really is. But I just love seeing all these different Avenger characters just do battle against these life model decoys. It was really good. And again, by the time I wound up getting to the end of it, I'm like, who is this mysterious villain that we're going to be introduced? We don't know yet. So I don't know, man. I think it's a pretty good book. I recommend it. You know, if you have the extra money and you're not strapped for cash and you're looking for a fun read, check out Out Avengers. I think this could be a blast. Now remember, guys, I still have a top 5. This is just the middle of the pack, right? Next book we're talking about is DC versus Vampire. So really good issue here, 11 of 12, the penultimate issue. I mean, what can you say about this book, right? This book has been a lot of fun, getting to see all your favorite DC superheroes and villains here be vampires, try to fight against vampires. Here we get to see that there's a mission between Steel and we get to see Kara, who's trying to get her powers back, and they're trying to like persuade the people that are guarding the spaceship to go above the clouds so she can again get her powers back. You get to see a really solid battle here between our favorite heroes and Lobo. So if you're a fan of Lobo, you're gonna like this issue. I had a lot of fun with it, just like I do in every single issue when it comes to DC versus vampires. And yeah, enjoy it, man, because we only got one more issue left, but definitely recommend it. Next, we have, boom, Daredevil. We have issue 5. Wound up getting the extreme variant here because it's fucking extreme, right? So really good issue here as we get to see Daredevil and Elektra. They actually become part of the Hand, I think it's now called. They're king and queen. And ever since they've unlocked the powers of this Hand, now we get to see normal people wind up getting powers. So you wind up getting to see Cole has powers, and you wind up getting to see Foggy Nelson has powers, and you get to see our heroes try to recruit new members into the Hand to try to lead them into the way to kind of fix their sins, basically. So it's for the greater cause of good, I guess. It's been a very entertaining read, but this, out of all issues, I feel is the best issue. I think things are starting to ramp up, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you read that final page. So good stuff here for Daredevil issue 5. Definitely recommend. Now we have Midnight Suns. This was a nice little book here, issue 3, as we get to see our heroes do battle in the dark dimension, and they rescue a certain hero that I did not expect to see in this book, and he's trying to guide them back home, which I thought was cool. Agatha Harkness, though, is in this book, and she supposedly is protecting Zoe. And my gut feeling is she's not. I think she's actually there to, I think she's part of this dark apocalypse that is going to happen. I think she's in it for the wrong reasons, and she's using Zoe. The artwork is really good in this book, and we get to see a last page in this issue where I was like, that's freaking cool. I can't wait to see the next issue. But again, the artwork is good. It's bright. It's vibrant. This is something that I also recommend. This is fun. Again, a fun comic book to read. So Midnight Suns issue 3. All right, let's go and let's continue on. Next we have Punchline, the Gotham Game, issue 2. I love this cover. This is a gorgeous one for me to pick up. And once again, the artwork in this book is phenomenal. Now, if you read the Robin series, that's what you can expect from this. The artwork is done by, I'm trying to see who it is here real quick. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So the artwork is really good in this book. I mean, check out this opening page of Punchline. She looks gorgeous. And I think this is the same artist that did the Robin book. And this is another book where I feel is very important for the Punchline character to succeed, because otherwise I feel that she's going to drop off and no one's going to care about her. And in this series, we get to see her be ruthless, be pretty strong, not take any shit from anybody. Like, they're trying to show that she's not some second-rate Harley Quinn, even though I know a lot of you readers think she is. That's what this book is, and she's trying to take over territory, and she does a lot of fighting, a lot of battling. There's no mercy in this book. Very interesting issue, very entertaining all the way around. You do get to see Batman make his appearance here, and that's kind of a little bit of a downfall for me, because I feel like, okay, when Batman's in the book, it's going to sell, but it wasn't too bad. We get to see Batman in the issue actually try to deal with Punchline and try to give her maybe like an ultimatum here. So really good book. Better than the first issue in my opinion. So we'll see how it continues with issue 3. All right. Next we have a book in a book. I didn't take it out. Scorched. This is issue 12. These Spawn comics are the best deal in comics. If you want to be entertained, if you like good artwork, if you want violence, if you want gore, that's what you can expect here. If you want good cover art, you can expect that here. I feel like the story has been dragging on with these realms that Spawn is supposed to open and close, and we get to see kind of the team here again working together to beat, is it Soul Crusher, I think his name is, I don't remember 100%, but it has been fun, and we get to see the Scorched team just work together and prevail. And it's kind of like Spawn's using you guys to get what he wants, and he's always going to do that. That's kind of what this issue really is about. Again, not a lot of story, just a lot of fighting and action, and if you like that, hey man, pick it up. Check out that artwork right there. You can't deny that. It's so good stuff. All right. Next, we have an independent comic. We have Dark Spaces Wildfire. This is issue 5. This week's issue was the conclusion to this series. Really enjoyed it as we get to see our females battle the villains at hand, defeat the fire, which that's what the villains are. They're basically a fire. You get to see all the fire references that you've seen throughout this book. This is actually a kind of a heartwarming tale. I actually really enjoyed it. We've gotten to see throughout the series these girls team up together to try to get a server full of Bitcoin and get rich off of Bitcoin, but it's just been the journey that's been very enjoyable. So the thing that I can say to you guys about this series, if you read it, continue to read it, and if you have not read it yet, when the trade comes out, definitely check it out. But it was very good. I enjoyed it. All right, and then the last book we're going to talk about before we get into the top 5, Sergeant Rock versus the Army of Darkness. This is issue 3 of 6. Not much here, right? It's just more of the same, where we get to see Sergeant Rock battle against Nazi zombies. That's all I get out of this book every single time that I read it. It's entertaining, it's fun, it's just like a popcorn flick at a movie, summer blockbuster, just lots of action, no real in-depth story. Actually, you know, I don't know if I'm actually going to continue this. I can spend probably $4 in a better comic book, so we'll see where, you know, we'll make a decision when that time comes. All right, so let's kick off now the official top 5 of the After the Poll video here. And number 5 winds up going to X-Men issue 17. This was a really good, like, 2-issue story arc when it comes to Bishop trying to rescue heroes in the vault. He tries to rescue Darwin. He tries to rescue Laura X-23. The book's action was phenomenal. I love seeing this story about Forge and just coming to grips with himself and with Darwin and just doing the right things and the wrong things. This was probably one of the best story arcs that I have read since this volume of X-Men has come out. And this kind of, I guess, closes the door when it comes to the Children of the Vault, in my opinion. I don't know, but I wish every X book was like this one. This one was really well written. Same with issue 16. Issue 15 was actually really good. So I'm enjoying the X-Men right now. I'm sticking with it. All right, moving on to number 4. Number 4 goes to, there we go, 8 Billion Genies, issue 6 of 8. This is a solid book. I mean, listen, there is a lot of dialogue that goes into this book. This is a book that you can invest like a good 20 minutes to read because there's so much that is going on with all the different types of family members and people that have genies, people that don't have genies, these different types of lands that these people are searching for and trying to, I guess, be accepted in. The world has changed a lot now, right? And so there's just all these different plot points going on, which I enjoy, but again, you gotta take your time and read it. And I feel like since there's so much going on, and being that this book was a little bit delayed, you might want to go back and read the last issue, or wait until all the issues come out and read it all at once so you get the full enjoyment of this book. But still, really entertaining read. Can't wait for issues 7 and 8. All right, coming in at number 3, and this was a book that I actually was not going to buy, but this was Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. Yeah, guys, I wasn't going to buy this book, and I just didn't like the cover about it, and I knew it was some type of romance book, and I was like, this is going to be Cheese Whiz. But you know what? Jason Aaron wrote it. I'm like, Jason Aaron, you know, even though he's not my favorite writer, he is a well-established writer, and this is an independent book from him, so I decided to check it out. And this was a book about the apocalypse, right? I mean, there's nothing in this world, and it was about a story about these two characters, this girl and this boy, actually coming together for the first time. And we get to see the female, who is very rough around the edges, has been living in the outside world for quite a while, and then we get to see the boy, who is a character who's been living in this tower and who has everything in it. And these two actually wind up coming together, and the way it was written, it was so good. I was so invested in these two characters that I want to see how their adventure continues. And yes, this is a love story, and this was the beginning of their relationship. And I loved, by the time we got to the end of this issue, that you do get to see things that is in the future. I don't want to spoil it, but it was definitely much better than I expected, especially for it to be in my top 5. So yeah, there you have it. Once upon a time at the end of the world. So yeah. Okay, number 2. Number 2, we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 14. Now, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to cover this again this week because of the holiday, but I took a few days off to kind of recharge. But this issue was a lot of fun. And in this issue, we do get to see the reveal of Hallows' Eve and who that character actually is. Now, this book had a lot of art changes in it, and I did not like that. And I understand why there were the art changes, because it had to deal with spring, summer, fall, and winter. So I guess this is times of the season where all this stuff took place for Ben Reilly, right? And again, the origin of the Hallows' Eve character is what kind of made it for me, and we've got to see her right here in the pages for the first time, and I loved it. I really did like it. The story was a little bit jumpy, which, you know, is a nitpick, and Ben Reilly's motive seems a little generic to me. It's like, I'm a clone, I never had my own identity, Peter took my feelings away, you know. I don't like that motive for him, but I do like the Hallows' Eve character. I do like the Queen Goblin character, but it does get me excited for the event. So I definitely say pick up Amazing Spider-Man if you want to read a Spider-Man event. If not, I totally get it if you're burnt out of events, but this was fun for me, and I'm excited for the Dark Web, which will be covered in this channel. All right, but what was number 1 this week? Well, this was number 1 by a landslide. This book definitely is on the uptick for me now, and this goes to Vanish. This is issue 3. This book is great. I get that Donny Cates is like leaving, taking a break from Thor and leaving the Hulk. Isn't to really focus more on this book right here, because it feels like all his energy is going to this. This is phenomenal, man. Oh my gosh, this took a much darker turn in this issue, as we do get to see Vanish take on, which is supposed of good guys in the Earth world now. But it seems like that our main character, is his name Oliver? I totally forgot his name. But our main character seems to be like he wants to be a good guy, but he's being influenced now by magic, and he's getting addicted to magic, which might make him the bad guy in this book overall. And what he's done in this book was so brutal, and you're just like, dude, he's showing these people no mercy. But let's check out some of the artwork in here. I thought it was phenomenal. All the fight scenes, the way the characters look are so great. And what I like about this book is what this attention to detail that Stegman has done is he's added these trail to the characters' eyes in every single one of them. And so what this does is this gives me like a video game vibe, like Dark Souls or God of War, where you get to see the heroes fight the bad guys and they got those trailing eyes. It just adds like a lot of attention to detail here. But I think our hero is going to become the new bad guy. I really do think so. And the supposed bad guys are going to have to try to take him out. And the people that I think, again, is his name Oliver, are closest to are going to go against him. So this book was a page turner. When I got done with it, I was like, oh shit, this is over? Like, no way, dude, this cannot be done. Like, I can't wait for issue 4. So good. Definitely recommend Vanish. Issue 1 was a great world building type of issue to see where our character came from. Issue 2 was kind of getting introduced to more of the players on this side, and number 3 is showing you basically what our main character can do when he's influenced by this magic. My gosh, guys, pick this up. So there you guys have it. There are my top 5. There are all the rest of the books that I read this week. I'm really interested to hear your feedback in the comments below. What do you think of this version of After the Poll? Like I said, if I did it this way, it's not guaranteed to have this many books read. It depends when I release the video. If I change the day on to a Sunday instead of doing it on a Thursday, I'm just not sure yet on what exactly I am to do. But I am very curious on your thoughts on what you thought of this version. And guys, as always, if you need content to check out, I'm going to leave you more content right here. In fact, this is that video that I talked about where I'm trying to tweak some of the series on my channel, and your feedback is super important, and you could win prizes. So again, let me know. And as always, guys, keep buying, keep collecting, and most importantly, always read your comics. Guys, I'll see you real soon. Take care. Bye.